welcome to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. My name is Shuyler Mao. I'm joined here by Rebecca Burnham, our customer service manager, and Lucas Grassberger, our brand manager?
Product marketing manager? I knew that.
I think we're joined here by Lucas Sassberger, our product marketing manager, just in case you want to, make me look better cussing.
I think you got Becca's wrong too.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Hello, welcome to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. My name is Shuyler Mao. I'm joined here today by Rebecca Burnham, operations manager, and Lucas Grassberger. What's your title, man? We just changed it.
Product marketing manager.
Product marketing manager. All right, cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah.
It's dark out. Mm-hmm. Sad.
Cold.
Yeah. Spokane's particularly egregious. So I was in Seattle this weekend, and Seattle's not great. But Spokane's a little further north. But what really gets us is that we're further east on the time zone. Mm-hmm. And so the sun goes down at like
4:30.
I think, and it starts getting dark in the 3s for sure.
It's dark when we leave at 4:30.
Yeah.
Like dark.
Yeah.
Not sun setting.
Yeah. It can be rough this time of year. But, in the summer, it's light for a really long time.
I don't like that either.
But, okay. Well, she's heading south, folks. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging in there. We appreciate it. What's new? What's happening? Anything?
I feel like I've been running around for a week.
Yeah, it seems really busy right now.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even really know why. Like, it's all the normal things we do. Is it just because we're training new people?
I think
that might be. There's a lot of new.
We're growing. We're training. Yeah. I think at the end of the year, there's a lot of stuff that comes up, whether it's getting ready for inventory. We've got some audits coming up, for some of our certifications that we're prepping for.
Start planning for next year.
Budgeting, new products coming out, et cetera, et cetera.
Like we've been doing a lot of
cleaning.
Yes.
Yep. We've got a renovation. So we're just moving around a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. So appreciate that. I know that, this time of year is also, if you're like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about the holiday season?
It's fine. I don't really do anything. But the extra time off is nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my family is not in Washington. So
when you flew down to see them?
Last year I flew to Florida to see family. Yes, because I've got a bulk of family on that side of the country in Florida, New York area. So we did a big family Christmas, which was the first time we have ever done that, actually.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Who's your favorite family member?
Ooh. I have to say my grandma.
Oh, that's safe. Yeah. Safe choice.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. Yeah. Rebecca, how about you?
Well, recently it's been my dad, but I think that's because he's retired for the second time.
Okay.
And this time he's really embracing retirement.
So is he the one who made me those delicious pickled vegetables?
Yes.
He's great.
So every time I go over, he's like, here, have stuff from the garden. Have these pickled vegetables. Take stuff home with you. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm old. I don't need it. Take all this stuff. But he's also a big napper. So 7:00, we're out. There's not a big time commitment.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's great.
I'm going to go to bed, so you can hang out if you want, but
peace.
I'm out.
All right.
Nice.
I love that. Nice. I love that. Okay. Yeah, mine's my mom, dad. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I can't really decide, so I'm going to go with that. Yeah, so we're going to get to some questions. This will be basically a Q&A. There's a lot of questions, and Kelsey, thank you for putting these together. So many questions. I love that. Is there any chance of there being a 365 stitch down with a leather midsole instead of rubber?
It's doable. My only issue, I don't even know how to say an issue. I just when you come out with a new product, you want it to solve a problem.
Yep.
We came out with a 360 to solve a problem of water resistance and flexibility. If you replace the rubber with leather, what problem are you solving? It's not as water resistant as the all rubber construction. It's not necessarily better or worse than the leather construction. It's doable, but I don't know what purpose it serves.
I think some people have an affinity for the leather.
Yeah.
I
know that the 360 stitch can look a little more uniform.
Yep.
So maybe on like a wedge sole, I could see that being appealing.
Yep.
We'd have to consider construction because, when we do a 360, we don't nail the back of the heel. So would we not nail the back of the heel? Like that kind of stuff.
It does introduce some gluing
exactly.
thoughts. I don't know if it's complications, but
with the rubber 360,
different glues bond better with different materials.
Rubber to rubber glue. Like we know that's not going to come apart leather to leather without nails. We don't know. Like there might be some issues there.
So there's a little more to it, but I think it's an interesting suggestion. So it's something we'll definitely keep in mind. But I mean, the rubber was there for a purpose. So hopefully you'll give that a try too in the meantime. Any plans to offer the roper with a comp steel toe in the future? Yes, there are plans to do that as we kind of get more sophisticated and competent with that style. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
My only thought is we have another pull-on chore boot Wellington style in the works. I think it would fit on more, just like style-wise. It makes more sense on that rather than a roper.
Yeah, that's true.
But we could do either or both.
Yeah. What, Becca?
I think you're right. It's probably a better fit for the other one. So if we were only going to do one, I'd probably vote for the upcoming one instead of the roper. But
true.
Yeah, theoretically, we could do both.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of in a similar vein. Will there be additional customization options for the Palouse? Yes, absolutely. We have actually a kind of a third-party expert in this style of boot coming in this week, actually, to kind of help us with some of those alterations and continue to get us more familiar with that style.
Yep.
The plan there is to definitely expand that. Oxfords. Like a true Oxford. Are you guys familiar?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think I know what an Oxford is.
It's basically where the blucher is underneath the vamp instead of over it, right?
Yeah.
We call it an Oxford. What we have in Oxford, but it's really a derby style. I don't think anybody really cared for a long, long time, and now people are getting more sophisticated and knowledgeable about different styles and patterning. I could see us definitely doing an Oxford style in our higher end line with Brandel.
That's what I was thinking.
I think it's a more refined look and probably makes the most sense there. Sure. Our goal there is to kind of come out with a new style each year in terms of like a new pattern, both with Nix and with the new line and with Brandel. So I could definitely see elements of that Oxford construction making it in there.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember you guys mentioning in the past video that you were working on getting CSA approval. It has not happened yet, but it is still in progress. We're getting alongside some of our NFPA and kind of ISO certifications. CSA is highly involved, but it is hopefully something we can accomplish. There's a shocking amount of documentation and detail from a diagramming and like construction and composition standpoint. But we are hoping to get through that. Absolutely. Good question. Questions on the tanker boots. So somebody on our subreddit put in like basically a second strap, like stitched in, over the bottom of the boot, across the opening, across the gusset, to kind of tighten it up a little bit because it can kind of flare up, I thought that was an interesting idea. I do think we could certainly seek to refine that. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I mean, that's a solution. The other way we could go is, I know some people don't like the way it opens like that. Tanker boots, by their nature, do open a little bit, but I mean, our tanker boot, we call it Tanker Pro because we essentially took a Builder Pro pattern, added straps instead of laces.
Well, you could almost take like the Oxford approach to it.
Right.
Sort of, right?
So you can modify the patterns themselves rather than adding another strap. So it's more like an actual tanker.
Yep.
And so that's a different approach, more involved approach.
Yep. I don't know. I like the simplicity.
Sure.
It does kind of look tacked on with like that extra strap. But Yeah, I think it's a great idea. We are kind of looking at that. I think there's some work that's in progress and that we could continue to do like on our overall pattern design. We have a kind of new and improved approach to some of our patterns that we're hoping to have out in the early part of next year, that I think people will be pretty excited about. So yeah, I think that's a good idea, and kind of addressing some of these common issues that we see that pop up. Like we posted over the weekend. I posted over the weekend like a request for kind of feedback on like stuff that's missing from the catalog, and I was kind of thinking, someone will be like, oh, can you get a Sierra with a certain type of configuration? And okay, let's add that in. But it was far more comprehensive than that, so that was awesome. And kind of revealed how much work we still have left to do, which is good. If you don't have any work to do, then what are you doing? But we're going to meet this week to kind of review all those suggestions, prioritize them, and kind of make a plan around how to make those happen, where reasonable.
Yeah.
When can we expect Natty oh my God. When can we expect Natty CXL or Wax Flesh to make a reappearance? I don't know. How do you guys feel about
if people bought it? It's like the same number 8 CXL question.
Yeah.
We still have it in the building because we just sold.
We still have
the leather in the building.
I see.
Because we just finished selling, like we sold the last of it in the last 2 months, and we launched those leathers like I don't even remember how many months ago.
Like 22, right?
I don't know if it was that long ago.
Okay.
But they sat for a while.
Well, we had natural wax flesh when I started here in 2020.
Yeah.
I know we got additional load in or two.
We brought it back recently.
This was back when we weren't as good at managing outstanding orders for leather, so we'd oversell things. But no imminent plans.
No.
We'll see. I mean, I think this year will continue to be a gray and brown year. I think you'll see some more of that. And then maybe some more like interest, not that natural is not interesting, but some interesting approaches from a color standpoint. I think you may even see some blue options or purple. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be weird. It's going to get weird. But good question. Is it possible to replace the uppers on a rebuild? The boots have been rebuilt once and the rest of the leather is fine, but the uppers are cracking. It is not possible to replace the uppers on a rebuild. So the uppers are essentially the only portion that remain after a rebuild. And yeah, if the uppers are going, it's new boot time, unfortunately. So like if we'd replace the uppers on a rebuild, we would be making a new boot.
Yeah, it's what it was, that the ship of Theseus, where it's like if you eventually replace every part of the ship, is it even the same ship anymore?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell customers who ask, is theoretically could we? Yes, but at that point it's just a new boot.
Yeah. Right. We will rebuild your uppers. It'll be $585.
Yes, exactly. It's funny. Yes. So yes, we can replace the uppers on a rebuild. You just have to place a new order. Are there any more plans for tactical like boots or perhaps other military inspired boots like the Trooper? Yes, actually, we have a replica. Well, I don't know if it's a replica. It's a inspired era boot that we're working on with a partner of ours.
I think it's
World War One.
World War One. Yeah, I think it's a boot from World War One.
So we're working on a World War One boot with Weston at Rosanville. Hopefully, that'll be coming out first half of next year. I think that'll be a big thing. People will make a big deal out of it. It's taking obviously the pattern inspiration and then essentially kind of upgrading a lot of the components and the construction method to make it a little beefier. But I think that will be really cool.
Yeah.
Good question. Do you have any plans for rough out side options for heritage boots? Yes, wax flesh is technically rough out, but there are lots of other. Oh, I see. Like Horween chamois, Kudu. I mean, we do offer the rough outs in our work leathers and our heritage configurations. So I guess more options. Sure, it's a good. The Lattigo rough out, really? I don't know.
I think so. Part of the problem is, and a lot of people might not realize this, a lot of the leathers we deem heritage leathers, from Horween and stuff, they're not dyed on the rough outside.
And that is also just kind of how we spec them.
That's true. So we could have them dyed on the reverse side. If you were to take a British tan, brown, and black right now and just flip it around, they'd be all identical.
Yeah. So I think they're talking more like us getting into more interesting rough outs, which is funny to me because we have like a ton of rough outs. Like we have a lot of wax flashes. We have a lot of and like a rough out walnut or 64 brown. That is essentially a waxed flash. It's just a little bit of a different process than what Horween uses on their wax flash, but it is waxed and it is flash side. Like we had the chocolate leather for a year or so. We did that collab with like Fireball Tool and offered it as a regular option, and just as kind of a quirk of the tanning process, Seidel like waxed it additionally, more than they normally do for say our rough out work leathers, and I thought it looked really cool. It was it was frankly looked more like a waxed flash than kind of that nap you get with our other rough outs. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll definitely keep that in mind, and kind of explore more of those options there. Rough out's great because it's a little more forgiving from a cutting standpoint. Doesn't show as many of the imperfections and issues in the hide, so we like working with that.
We do have one of our bootmakers asked for a funky build, and I approved it. They're doing, I think, British tan flipped inside out, so it's rough out. Just to see what it looks like. I think his Jamin is giving it a shot.
Okay, interesting.
So we'll see what it looks like, and it's one way we can burn through that British tan because people aren't buying it.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's beautiful.
It used to be super popular, and then we ran out, and all of a sudden,
yeah. I mean, I do not get new boots very often, and I have a pair of British tan boots.
Yeah,
and the fact that other people out there don't share the same taste as me is crazy.
Unacceptable.
It's crazy. What's the difference between oil tanned Lattigo and double stuffed leather? Which one is more comfortable, supple for a casual 6-inch cap toe makeup? What are the colors of each, which are available for a custom MTO?
So oiled Lattigo, is that what they mean?
Yeah.
So the two Wicked and Craig options.
Yeah, I mean Lattigo and double stuffed. So double stuffed is essentially just tumbled lager with more liquors and waxes and the same stuff that goes into the Lattigo, but just longer. And so that's why it's called double stuffed. Is essentially tumbled for twice as long.
I think part of the big differences too is Wicket and Craig has their harness leather and their
bridle.
And so Lattigo is one of those and double stuffed is the other at the starting process. And then they start to do more to it after that.
Yeah, like they have that H Lattigo too, which is essentially a closer combination of harness and Lattigo. It was basically harness scratches really easily, and so the Lattigo is supposed to be less easily scratched. And so the H Lattigo is designed to be like more like a harness, but not with the same scratch vulnerabilities. Sure. I would say the double stuffed is probably more supple, right? It should be. It's got more stuff in it, so it should. Like double stuffed is interesting. It's got so many waxes and oils in it that like, I don't know. We talked about this before, but like if the weather's weird and it's really cold, then like it has to warm up because otherwise it will actually expel the oils while you're lasting it and that sort of thing. Where that's not as true for Lattigo. The colors of each, I mean, they're all available. Whenever they're on the site. They should be.
What are the colors of each one are available?
But I don't know. We should be offering, I think, everything.
So double stuff is buck brown, natural, and burgundy, and then
no chestnut.
Was that
chestnut?
Chestnut is Lattigo.
Okay, right.
Chestnut is Lattigo, tan, and black.
Okay, so buck brown, burgundy, and natural in the DS, the double stuffed, and then Lattigo is tan,
chestnut,
and
black.
And black. Okay, there you go. Thank you. I would say they're both really awesome leathers.
Yeah. They're near identical in terms of like the way they're tanned and what they look like. Like if we at one point brought in a burgundy Lattigo and a burgundy double stuff, and it was like, why are we doing this? These are almost the same. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they look identical. Like a double stuffed is essentially like a harness that's been stuffed even more. And so like if you look at like buck brown double stuffed is, I think, I'm gonna have to double check on this. I think it's medium brown that's been stuffed again.
Okay.
And so like anytime you put something in double stuff, it gets way darker.
Right.
And so they're all just their normal colors, but they're essentially tumbled again. And so they take on even more of the dyes and the oils. Lattigo is confusing to me because like a Lattigo traditionally within leather is a combination tan of it's both vegetable tanned and chrome tanned, in like the traditional definition of Lattigo, but obviously Wicked and Craig does not do any chrome tanning. So it's kind of an attempt to replicate that richness, with their veg tanning process. There's just a lot of terms that are not particularly well defined, like Horween always talks about how they're the only ones who are truly hot stuffing things, and it's like their temperature threshold's higher than other people, and so these guys are not really truly hot anyway. But the end results are still really great, and so it's just kind of interesting, like how some of these terms have evolved and mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the entire production team company, so we're going to move on from that. If the entire production team company had to all come to a consensus and agree to make all boots out of only one leather going forward, which leather would win out?
Black work leather. I've asked them this. At least the leads.
You sure it's not 64?
I think it's 64.
Oh, you're right. 64 black.
It'd be 64 black or brown.
Yep. Probably a rough out.
Probably 64 black in rough out.
Yep.
Yeah, rough out's easiest for cutting. It's easiest to touch up if it gets hit by a sander or something like that. The yield's really good.
64 is easier to
64
last.
is easier to last than max support, or in some cases some of the heritage leathers. So yeah, it would be that.
Which I'm not sure if the intention of this question was like, what's your company's favorite leather? Because what we would pick to build boots out of exclusively is a different set of criteria than just which one we like the best.
Well, it would be 64 brown.
That's true. Yeah.
Like it would be 64 brown because it's different. Or would it be black? I don't know.
So easiest to make.
No, I know, but I'm talking also from a sales standpoint.
From a brand standpoint, probably brown. 64 brown.
I think brown is. I'd have to look at the numbers, but
I think it's our most popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black is just easier because you don't have to worry about color matching hides and things like that.
Well, yes, but the nice thing about browns is that you do get some variation in the rough out versus the smooth side. So it's technically like two colors that you're offering.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Whereas with black, it's relatively uniform. Yeah. 64 brown.
But you're right. In terms of like what would we prefer to make and what would we prefer to have, it cracks me up. Serge's favorite leather, if he was to get a pair of boots, is double stuff, but it's so hard to last. He hates that leather.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fair, right? It's why it's expensive.
Yeah.
It takes more time. It's a pain, but it's very beautiful. What kind of leather are your gusset materials and boot laces? What kind of leather is your gusset material? So gusset material it's the same. It's just thinner. So it's oh man, what do we call it? What do they call it? It's from Seidel, and it's like a 3 to 4 ounce.
I cannot remember.
They have a name for it, which is escaping me, which is a little embarrassing. But
sorry, it's a secret.
No, I can't remember. But Well, because they call things.
Yeah.
We call things differently than they call things, and that's why we got a shipment of walnut when we ordered brown. So we should probably sync that up a little bit. What? Yeah, and so the laces are from a tannery in Tennessee, and they are great. I appreciate your being impressed with the quality of Nick's laces. We order a lot of them. What are the main differences between CXL and Chrome Pack leathers from Horween? So Chrome Pack it's just not as glossy. So it's not, CXL is essentially painted. It is a painted leather. It goes through these spray booths that are quite long. They're probably like 30 feet long, with these like little string roller things, and they have sprayers, and they spray the top coat on the leather. It's relatively thin. That's why you get like that T-core look, where the brown's coming through. Chrome Pack is not finished as heavily. So Chrome Pack is kind of analogous to it's a little bit like a Predator. It is finished, but not as aggressively uniformly. And so it has more variation in that top coating. And so it kind of has a distressed look, kind of like that Predator does. We do have a new Predator that we're going to be.
Oh, right.
Well, that's not true. We are going to be offering a work leather inspired by Predator. Would probably be a better way to put that.
Yeah.
When do you think those will be done, the sample boots?
Hopefully soon. We have a lot of samples going through right now.
Yeah.
Like we got 4 or 5 different leathers we're playing with.
Yeah, people are gonna love it. It's like even more. So if you've seen our like Weather Shield brown, it's like it's an oranger, more distressed looking version of that, but in the same thickness as our work leathers. It's very cool.
Yeah, it looks really close to almost what some of the Predator used to look like years back, which is really cool. And it's like, the work leather thickness. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So I feel like Predator orange has always been like or the Predator tan in general has been kind of in a weird middle spot.
Yeah.
Which maybe isn't a bad thing, but it's like it's a heritage leather, but also of all the heritage leathers, other than wax flesh, this is the one I'd say like you could totally use that for work.
Yeah.
So this will be cool.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that one. We've got a couple new additions to the work colorway that I think will be appreciated.
Yeah. Interesting thing about Chrome Pack, I don't know if you knew this, but originally that leather was tanned as like a mechanical leather for like gasket seals.
Oh, interesting.
And that's where that tannage came from.
Oh, that's cool.
And then eventually they started using it for small goods.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. How would you build the most flexible Nick's boot?
360 all rubber unit lug.
Yep. 360 all unit. Yeah, that's a good one. 360. Wait.
Unit lug.
Rubber. Yeah.
So
rubber.
like
a waterwork.
Yeah, a waterwork.
A waterwork.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess
Probably
I could have
short.
just said that.
Now, if we were doing development, I would get rid of the slip sole. So we have a boot that'll be coming out that'll be kind of we used to make this boot in the past. I actually have a pair of them. They're very cool. They're like sort of minimalist. They don't have a slip sole, and they use basically a unit lug and just a midsole. They're pretty lightweight and very flexible. That would be like from a development standpoint. And then there are like actually some techniques where I've seen where you cut not through, but little scoring essentially in like the flex point, wherever that you think that might be. And that actually increases the ability of the midsole to flex. It does reduce the longevity though, right? Because it does make it less strong. I've seen some examples of that, which are kind of interesting. Is there a tannery or type of leather you would like to work with that you currently don't? Rebecca?
I don't think I want to sell it, but I am intrigued by mushroom leather.
Gosh.
Okay. Interesting.
I just want to see what would
Kelsey's
happen.
making a weird look.
Really made out of mushrooms?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vegan leather. I think there's like pineapple leather too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of this new like sustainable stuff. So
Yeah.
like, you know, because vegan leather now is really just a petroleum byproduct, right? It's plastic. And it's pretty good. Like a lot of car interiors are plastic now. It's better than, it like feels better than vinyl. Like Tesla's, I think, use it. BMW's like Sensatech. But obviously that doesn't really address some of the core issues in terms of, you know, climate impact and that sort of thing. And so what they do, Kelsey, is they will actually grow mushrooms, they dehydrate them, and then they put them under incredibly high pressure and essentially smash them together. And then I'm sure there's some other secret sauce in there to kind of make it bond and be a little stronger. So don't try this at home with your stand mixer or something. But Kelsey likes to bake a lot. That's just all I'm saying. She makes all the cobbler.
No, I got it.
Okay. I know, but I don't think like, I was hoping somebody wouldn't be like, is that a kitchen joke or something? Some background there. Yeah, it's interesting. And so the pineapple leather I've seen as well. The pineapple leather, I think I've seen examples of the mushroom leather. I think it's like nicer than the pineapple leather that I've seen. You know, it's funny. I did reach out to them, to one of the mushroom manufacturers, and they're not interested in dealing with us. They want to deal with like Adidas or like Stella McCartney or somebody who's going to buy like just massive scale to kind of get them going. But I don't know. We'll see. If we'll work with anything that's like high enough quality.
Right.
I mostly wonder like how it would do like in lasting. Like I just want to know what that does to the production
like
process.
how long? Yeah, I wonder like durability wise.
Yeah.
Like, what's that gonna hold up like?
Yeah, you wonder because I mean there is leather that's essentially it's like fiberboard almost like with wood, and like they'll take leather scraps, grind them up, and then glue and press it together. And those are just not as strong as true leather.
Yeah.
So I'd be hard pressed to think that would have the same, tensile properties, but you never know, man. There's some crazy stuff. Like my stepbrother he's got a startup, and they're making lab grown seafood, or trying to make lab grown seafood. And so it's they're starting out with like sea bass, right? Because it's like one of the highest dollars per pound foods out there. And I thought that was interesting, right? Like, so it's like the future is now, man, in a lot of ways. It'll be interesting to see how that affects us. But for now, please keep eating hamburgers and subsidize your local tannery with meat consumption, please.
Eat more beef.
Eat more beef.
Get our leather prices down.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's that whole conversation's weird, right? Because everybody's bad. Yeah. Well, we all consume, right? Like it's like there's, I don't know. It's such a difficult conversation.
Bug protein, Shuyler. It's the way of the future.
Oh. Yeah, but then they're gonna be like, well, there's no more insects left. Like, why are the insect populations down so much? It's because Rebecca ate all the bugs, right? No, I know it's because of pesticides and light and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a hot button topic.
I'd like to try bullhide.
Bullhide I think would be cool.
And kangaroo, I think. Also.
Kangaroo.
We just couldn't sell to California.
Kudu comes up a lot. Like the reason we don't sell kudu. So we had what is kudu? Kudu's a very large, I think it's an antelope that it is farmed.
Yep.
I think there are kudu farms in like America, but it's obviously native to Africa. But my dad went on a safari years and years and years ago, and he saw some kudu, and he was like, "These are beautiful creatures. We are not making any leather from these animals." So that is actually the reason why we have not made a kudu boot in a really long time. We did a run of Kudu for Oak Street Bootmakers back in 2017, 2018. And they sent us Kudu to use, and we did use that. But I don't believe we've ever actually bought any Kudu to use in any Nick's boots. So I don't know. I think Kudu could be interesting. It seems very popular right now.
I see it all the time.
Yeah. So Kudu I think would be cool. I would like to get into I'd like to get back into some of the weird Italian stuff,
Like the
Merriam's, and I don't even know if Badalassi's Italian. It sounds Italian. And then Baker, didn't we order samples of that? The calf from what did we order from the guys in you have it in your sample room. Wisconsin, the guy in Wisconsin.
Oh, Carmine Jack.
So these are English. It's shockingly expensive, but it's supposed to be some of the best veg stands out there. So we actually do have some. Maybe it's just belt. I don't know.
I think we have belt leather. Okay. I think we got belt leather for that to test out.
You might be right.
Because Carmine Jack does belts.
Okay.
Yeah, oak tan, oak bark. Like we did oak bark before. We did a Herman oak belt.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we got samples for belts. So that's a Luke question.
So I was thinking Baker in the boot leather, possibly for Brandel, because it's that expensive. It's very pricey. Yeah. So that was kind of what I was thinking. I think on the work side, there are some interesting leathers out there. I think from maybe sources that we've traditionally bought heritage leather from that do have some work capabilities to kind of mix that up, but it gets complicated, right, with our supplier relationships and everything like that. Our existing suppliers have been really good to us. So you do want to keep them happy and give them the business that they've earned over the years. But yeah, so actually I think we're doing one of them, which is that kind of predator approach to the work leathers. So that'll be cool. Okay. Anything else, Kelsey, that you wanted us to go over? Anything you wanted us to chat about? Any comments? No? Okay. All right. I mean, it says here, there's a note from the producer that, what does it say? It says, listeners like to hear personality.
Yeah, your personality.
My personality? Oh, okay. All right.
Guys.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Just the woman behind the scenes. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Please send us more questions and we'll answer them. And always a privilege to have you guys talking to us. So thanks so much for Lucas and Rebecca. Bye-bye. Please review and go ahead, Lucas. What?
Oh, I was going to ask you what our titles were.
You are product marketing manager, operations manager.
Boom.
Got it.
All right. Please review if you liked it, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. All right, we're gonna start this over. Hello, welcome to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. My name is Shuyler Mao. I'm joined here by Rebecca Burnham, our operations manager, and Lucas Sassberger, our brand manager. Product brand. Oh shit!
I just got a promotion. Product marketing manager.
He does stuff, okay?
I do stuff
related to products.
Kelsey Lur's back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do this to you.